Hello, advanced algebra students. You ready? Here's the same skill again in another GED big area. This one's from data analysis. It says use the definition of mean from the GED formula sheet to answer each of the following. Now, that was me just giving you enough directions so you would know what to do on the formula sheet, but in the GED itself, this is what you'll see. Which equation below would give the mean m of four numbers h, j, k, and l? Now, if you already know about mean, median, mode, and range, good for you. They come up on the math, science, and social studies. But even if you don't know anything about them, there's a little bit of information about them on the formula sheet. Let's take a look. Here is the GED formula sheet. The first half here are geometry formulas, but if you scroll down right underneath geometry, you will see data. Now, interesting thing, these are clearly not formulas, but they're on the formula sheet. They give us some definitions here. Basically, they're giving it to us in the language of English instead of the language of algebra. That's okay. We're advanced level students. We can handle both. It says mean is equal to the total of the values of a data set, the total, divided by, I'm going to use a fraction bar, so I say I'm dividing the whole total. Careful, if you use a divide by sign instead of a fraction bar, you might not be dividing the whole total like you want to. So divided by the number of elements in the data set, the number of numbers, basically. All right, let's go use that piece of information. So which equation below would give the mean m of four numbers, h, j, k, and l? Well, it's going to be an equation where h, j, k, and l are getting totaled. How could I find the total of four individual numbers? Well, quick ways, just add them all up. You might say to me, Kate, but you said multiplying gives totals too. Yeah, multiplying gives totals when you have the same number repeated some number of times. That's not what I have here. I just have four individual numbers, h, j, k, and l. I want to total them, put them together, so I would add. That leads me down takeaway A, takeaway B, where those things are shoved together and multiplying. See them shoved together, multiplying, shoved together, multiplying. And look at C and D, where they're totaled. Now, I should have given you a spoiler alert, because based on the conversation we had before, you probably know that D is the correct answer. But why is D better than C? Again, it's because math doesn't work from left to right. We simplify according to the order of operations. So if I tried to do C, I wouldn't divide the whole total by 4. C just has L divided by 4 and then takes a total of that with H, J, and K. That's not what we want. We want the whole total to be divided by 4. And that's why that fraction bar is so lovely. It is so powerful. It divides, but it also groups. And so see how that fraction bar is nice and long and stretching. It's saying we're dividing that whole total by 4. Nice. D is the correct answer. Next example says, use the equation to determine L, the score a student needs on her 4th test to raise her mean score to 90 if her first 3 test grades were 92, 91, and 84. Now, once again, I'm giving you some extra information in this problem than the GED probably would, just so you have enough context to do it without a whole lot of understanding of mean, or also called averages. By the way, guys, mean is an average. But if you had this on the test itself, you would probably not be told to use the equation. You would probably just be told to determine that missing data item. Like, you know what you want your mean to be. Well, we want our mean, also called average, to be 90. And you know some of the scores. There's her first 3 test grades, but you don't know the final item in the data set, a final test grade. And this kind of a problem happens on the math, where you do have this formula sheet, but it can also happen on the science, where you don't. So that being said, though, we know that the mean is what we're going to get. It's going to be equal to the sum, the total here of all the items in the data set. So let's see, she had a score of 92, a score of 91, and a score of 84, but she's going to have a 4th test. We're going to have to add in eventually that L, that score on her 4th test. Now, the mean's not just a total, right? It's the total divided by the number of items in the data set. Well, what is the data set here? It's test scores. So how many test scores is she going to have? Well, she already has 3. She's taking 1 more. It's going to be 4. So I have this nice little equation, but I know the mean. She wants to raise her mean score to 90. You could rewrite the whole thing, but I guess I'm feeling a little lazy. So 90. Now, guys, this is an algebraic method of solving this problem because we're in the algebra unit, but it's not the only way. You can do it arithmetically as well, which I do look at in the data analysis unit, okay, if you don't like this method. However, this I can solve. Now, you might say this looks really ugly, this looks really gross, and I say it does, but I can make it look a lot better if I simplify before I start solving. What do I mean? I mean, here's 3 numbers adding and subtracting. Now, they're all adding with L, but I can at least add up the part that I know first. So let's do that. 92 plus 91 plus 84. And again, I can do this because you're allowed to add in any order you want. And these numbers are all just adding with L. So I get 267. I just made that a lot easier. An easier, simpler way to think about this is just 267 plus L over 4 is equal to 90. And now guess what? Looks like our 2-step equations, doesn't it? They keep coming up. Let's go ahead and solve this sucker. Now, really common error is students go, hey, Kate, things that are adding and subtracting should go away first. And I say, yeah, except for in the case of groupings. Don't forget, you guys, when we're solving, we work the order of operations backwards. So yeah, things that are adding and subtracting are supposed to go first, but things that are inside of groupings, those go last. And yeah, the 267 is adding with L, but it's in a group on the top of a fraction. Okay, free up the group before you touch the 267. Let's get rid of what's happening to the whole group. The whole group is being divided by 4. I can get rid of that by multiplying the whole group by 4, and I'm going to be nice to myself with my secretarial skills, make the 4 kind of lining up with the top so I can clearly see the cancellation. That's not a power of 4, it's times 4. Now I'm going to take the entire left-hand side and multiply that by 4. And now I've made sure the 2 sides are equal by multiplying the 2 sides by 4, and I can see what my new equivalent equation will be. 4 times 90, you can do it in your calculator if you need to. Maybe I should do it in my calculator considering how many things I've made mistakes on already today. Oh, what did I do, you guys? Oh, 4 times 90. Dear Lord, I'm struggling so bad. Is 360, and that's going to be equivalent or equal to whatever I get on the right-hand side. Multiplying by 4 and dividing by 4 cancel. This just got a whole lot prettier. It's 267 plus L. And now I can get rid of the thing adding or subtracting with L because I freed that group up. It's not grouped up anymore. Minus 260. Because I'm laughing at myself. I have messed so many things up today. Minus 267 on the right-hand side, jump across the equal sign, subtract it there as well. And I'm going to use my calculator. And this time, hopefully, I type the numbers in right. 360 minus 267 equals 93 on the left-hand side. And that's going to be equal to whatever I get on the right-hand side. Well, 267 minus 267 is nothing. It's 0. And if I have 0 plus L, I will just have L. Nothing plus L is L. And so L is alone, and L must be equal to a 93. The student needs to get 93 on her 4th and final test if she wants to raise her average or mean score to a 90. This, by the way, is a GED test favorite problem type, where you're given the mean and have to find a missing item in the data set. And yes, it can happen on math, but I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if you saw this on science. All right, you guys, happy learning.